Many people do not know that the beginning of anime was a very hard uphill battle. When thinking of anime, many people might imagine some cringe cartoon from Japan. This can be true in many cases, but most people do not understand the uprising of anime and the beautiful art that it can be. Anime is a very important topic to readers, audiences, and consumers around the world that should be discussed because of the creative and cultural impact it has had globally. Many modern-day cartoons and shows make various references to anime and can be inspired by the medium it represents internationally. However, the rise of anime struggled in many ways people do not realize. Modern anime began in 1957 and found lasting success in 1961 with the establishment of Mushi Productions by Osamu Tezuka. Although the original production of Japanese anime was made in the year 1917, many other promising anime artists appeared one after another, but with the war approaching, goods were in extremely short supply with the national mood turned militaristic. This forged a problem with the industry and decreased the popularity because of the lack of production of anime. Soon after the war ended, the general headquarters of the Allied occupation, or GHQ, brought together 100 anime artists in the bombed-out ruins of Tokyo to form the Shin Nihon Dogashi, or New Japan Animation Company. The aim with this effort was to make it easier to spread occupation policies by having the artists produce anime in praise of democracy. However, many of the artists were fiercely independent and territorial, and the company was torn apart by disagreements from the outset. The project strayed off course and eventually disbanded. Japanese anime were costly to produce in comparison to Western animations and were overshadowed by the popularity of Disney cartoons. This posed a problem for the growth of anime as it made it very difficult to make money off of the production of anime. As Japan began to recover from the disastrous war, Okawa Hiroshi, the president of the Toei Film Company, saw Disney's Snow White. Hiroshi was overwhelmed by the gorgeous color of the film. In 1956, he built a modern studio, a white-walled palace with air conditioning, as people called it, and founded Toei Doga, now Toei Animation. His ambition was to become the Disney of the East, and it was only a matter of time that anime would take off and his dream may come true. On January 1st, 1963, Fuji Television broadcasted a 30-minute animated television series called Tetsuwan Otomu, better known in English as Astro Boy. This show became a surprise hit, starting an anime boom and the period of intense competition for TV audiences. This success was a big deal for the future of the industry. However, because of the little money they got and the cost of the studio production, the studio had to cut corners and ruthlessly decrease the number of frames and use still images. When the company still failed to make a profit, Takusa decided to invest his own income from manga publishing. It was a generous gesture typical of the man they called the god of manga. In the 1970s, the rising popularity of TV put a major dent in the Japanese film industry, both live action and animation. Many of the animators who had worked exclusively in film gravitated back to TV to fill its expanding talent pool. This helped the popularity of anime to greatly increase. After this era, anime became widespread through the world. Anime is an important part of history that no one really talks about due to how overshadowed it was with the rise of Disney. This struggle wasn't the only one either, because of the fact that World War II broke out, which caused a scarcity of artists on the frontier of anime. This didn't stop the eventual uprising of anime culture, though. After a long battle with competing Western cartoons, anime finally got the spotlight it deserved. Anime is especially useful in teaching and learning about Japanese culture because it creatively interprets many different aspects of life in Japan. These aspects include, but are not limited to, locations and institutions, historical and cultural references, social practices, and small things like body language and gestures, aspects that don't quite translate the same way to other media, such as literature, music, or even live-action film.